Well, I think everyone's aware of this. Since Sunday night's Euros defeat, some England football stars have been subjected to really vile racism, much of it taking place online. And there are now being calls for social media platforms such as Instagram and Twitter to ban and remove monkey and banana emojis because they're being used to racially abuse the players. The sites say that these emojis do not break the rules on racism or community guidelines. Now, clearly, it's not going to solve anything to ban these emojis. However, is it a good gesture of intent? We know that they are used to abuse people. Would it at least be something on the part of these social media companies to say that they are trying to take this seriously and change the narrative? I mean, Brenda, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a well-known slogan, every little bit helps, and it would help, but I think the words, the writing itself, you know, half the time you don't even get a chance to get down to any emoji because of the content of the graphic material and slurs and racist, abusive slurs that are written down. So for me, I think, you know, more needs to be done by these tech companies to actually look at their algorithms, because that's what this is all based on, and take out these words and have something that flags that up. And if they can't police it, then I think it is for the government to put some sort of legislative law in there to police it and to have people held accountable. And as you were saying on the show yesterday, you know, things such as verification of addresses. I mean, I'm a loose woman and I've been waiting for verification on my Insta for God knows. So if you're listening, you know, but I think that will help people to be held accountable, and they do need to be held accountable.
I mean, you're mentioning that. There's two petitions ongoing at the moment that are building a real head of steam. One of them is that it should be a legal requirement to have a verified form of ID. That's what you're talking about. That's at more than 667,000 signatures. And the other one is to permanently ban all of those who've carried out racist abuse online or offline from England football matches. That's reached nearly 1 million signatures. And I believe just this morning Boris Johnson said in the House of the Parliament that people who are found responsible of online racial abuse will be banned from football matches. He said no ifs and no buts.
Yeah, that's easy to say. The fact of the matter is that the number of people who will be prosecuted successfully will be depressingly low. Number one, we haven't got the police resources to do it, and number two, these are very long, drawn-out cases, and the people aren't going to plead guilty. They're going to contest it. I think the answer lies somewhere another way, really, a way that I said yesterday. I think the racial abuse is disgusting, but I think that the people broadcasting it, i.e. the tech companies, ought to be fined really heavily for not policing it better. And there's been a bill going through Parliament that's still not law, that is not, you know, that seeks to bring in huge fines. So if you hit them in their pockets, and let's be honest, they're making millions of profit out of this vile slush of, you know...
trade. I mean, you could call it a vile trade.
It is
because
part
they're
of their
money.
business. And to say that a banana is, you know, OK, it's just... It's a feeble response, isn't it?
I mean, they say that they've been removing thousands of comments and they have been suspending a number of accounts since Sunday's final.
Yeah, but
clearly there's a general feeling it's just not enough, is it? What do you think of the emojis? I mean, Brenda's very generous in saying, well, every little helps. Would that help?
My problem is that the very unintelligent, brain-dead people that are doing this, I'm not sure anything's going to help except to get them off social media, like you said, maybe fines, you know, maybe it just needs a policeman. I think, you know, we need to start re-educating everyone about the whole thing, that it's just not acceptable. I'm not sure, like Brenda said, I think words are more hurtful than an emoji. And like you said, you wouldn't even get down to the emoji. But I don't know, I'm at a loss. I'm so shocked about the whole thing that this is still happening. To see one of my best friends be so upset by the whole thing, you know, literally in tears, breaks my heart and makes me ashamed. And I just think as a nation, because I do think it is a very small majority of our nation. I think the minority.
Yeah, but
the minority, sorry.
The behaviour of the minority shames the majority.
Well, because they
because
shout
then you
louder.
ask yourself,
That's the thing.
what could I have done? How could I stop
Well,
this?
maybe
And
the
I
answer
think
lies
that.
here.
What can I do to stop it?
I mean, I agree that we need legislation, that the action that Boris Johnson said he's going to take, and hopefully he'll be able to follow through on it, though I think it is difficult, Janet. But we also have to harness people power here, don't we?
Do.
I mean,
really
you know, I'm sad too that Brenda, you're reduced to tears by this. But can I ask you, when you see, you know, the sort of vigils, if you like, outside the mural, Marcus Rashford's mural, when you see these signatures for people who are standing up against that, does that give you any comfort?
Well, yeah, it gives me comfort. And I was great going into watching the football match. I was all there in my England shirt, ready, backing and everything. And it's just a shame that, as you said, there are a minority of people that just take all that positivity and whitewash it with negative things. And the first thing you see is the negative. It's a penalty. You know, sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
but why do you have to give racial slurs to it? I just think it's just pointless. I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted with it. I've had enough of it. I do my bit. I contribute in the best way I can, and so does all my family. And I just want some respect. And I just think we just all need to have respect for each other as human beings. Well, just, you know, if Boris put this into play, I really hope you put your money where your mouth is.
Now, I want to say one important thing, because the fact of the matter is that England is all of us. So that England team reflected accurately modern Britain.
And everyone was behind them.
Britain has always been a country that people have come to and their parents and grandparents have migrated to from all over the world. It was the same 100 years ago, 200 years, 300 years ago. So what is it about these tragic people that they, in their mind, imagine that we can wind the clock back to some mythical time which was pure, white, certain kind of people, because Britain was never like that, folks.
It's this is what I'm saying. It has to come from the top. It has to start from the top and be...
They're not... They're
but maybe also from the bottom up too, because you're exhausted, Brenda, I understand why. Maybe that means the rest of us have to step up and put some energy into absolutely stamping this out and denying the oxygen to, as you aptly put it, brain-dead individuals, bigots.